Joining us on Giving Tuesday, this first day of December.
Here at St. Thomas Aquinas College, we are extremely tuition dependent. Our budget is funded by tuition, and tuition is made up of different factors. It's the family's ability to pay, as well as institutional aid and scholarships. And I think Mike alluded to it earlier about closing that gap. And that's what that is. The gap is what the tuition amount is, what the family can afford, state grants, federal grants, what have you. But then it comes down to aid provided by the college and our wonderful donors. So that's and scholarships make up a huge part of that. We've been lucky and blessed to have an endowment. There were some schools who just don't have that ability to even draw from the endowment to help students. We have that ability. We need to maintain and strengthen that ability, and that's where the continued growth of our scholarships is of the utmost importance to our families and to the institution.
I'll say a few things. One is that the money that you donate to St. Thomas Aquinas College will make much more of an impact than it would in other institutions, right? Other institutions, and frankly, take that money and put it against their bottom line. It's a drop in the bucket for those institutions. But every dollar that our benefactors donate to the institution goes right to our students. And that's the difference between a student being able to live and learn on our campus or not. It's the difference between a student receiving a good education or not, right? That's the opportunities that this money really affords all these donations. And our students really have three main characteristics. One is that they want to be academically inspired. So they might have come from a high school where they did great and they really know what they want to do, or maybe they didn't. And that's a wide breadth of different populations of students that we serve. They're very environmentally conscious. So they know that they want to do something. They know they want to help environmentally, but they don't necessarily know what the vehicle is to do that. And they're hoping that when they get to college, they'll be inspired again to be able to do that. And the third is that they're very civically conscious. We're going through one of the largest situations dealing with social justice in the last 50 years. And they are not on the sidelines, but they're at the forefront. And they want to make a large contribution academically, socially, environmentally, and civically. And these funds that come from our benefactors and our donors, they go right to helping our students do it. Yes, they help with scholarships and grants, but they help fund different lecturers, different opportunities that come on campus where students can really interact with people from outside the campus. So every dollar really counts and every dollar really matters.
Yeah, if we're talking about the way in which donor money can shape our education, it's obviously in technology. We pride ourselves as being an innovative institution. We had a Bloomberg lab long before other colleges had a Bloomberg lab for their business students. We have an innovation lab. We did that before other colleges were even starting to think about it. And they get old, and technology needs rapid replacement, as everybody knows, and that costs money. And so I think any donors who have a particular affinity for technology or for these sort of innovative methodologies, teaching methodologies, we have certainly room to grow in that area. I mean, we really were at the vanguard, and it's expensive to keep up as technology changes.
I feel a great allegiance to the college. The small college setting was perfect for me. I blossomed as a person during my 4 years here. The college helped me secure my first job that helped launch my career. And now, decades later, after graduation, I still credit the college for much of the success of my professional career. And I try to give back as much as I can. The Suez grant for $150,000 was one of the highlights of my 6 years here, where Sister Margaret and you and I developed a program from scratch that was a smashing success. So I think it's important for corporations like Suez to contribute to important organizations across our service area.
I went into the STAC not understanding what the school model was, enlightenment through truth. I came out living it. and continued to live it for 45 years in my professional career, and continue to do that daily. And I think that, boil it down, we produce men and women that go forward into the world and make a difference daily. And it goes back to the STAC community, the STAC culture, the STAC leadership, and the STAC professors. That is all about what we try to do and live every day. And I look at our alumni, and you can go down the list, and there are some very, very successful people. And each one of them, they live that mantra, and they help other folks understand that. And I think that's the power of what STAC is about. That's the power of our alumni and students. And that's why I continue to be active, involved, is I want to create students that go into the world and make a difference.
I graduated from STAC in 1980, and I was in the gerontology program with Sister Dr. Heffernan, who made such an immeasurable impression on my life. I talk about her to this day. My parents, my mother had met her. I visited her at the convent. She really infused in me a whole love of learning that was different from any other aspect of my education. And she was a strong supporter of STAC. I came back as an adult, as a single parent with 3 children between the ages of 3 and 6. So it was a difficult challenge, and I didn't have a scholarship. So I was working part-time and going to school full-time. And it just was such an earth-shattering experience for me to step into a different world. As Mike had said, I was never an outstanding student in high school. I'm a nurse by profession, and I came to STAC for 3 years, a 3-year hospital school of nursing under my belt. I took a couple of courses at Rockland Community College before coming to STAC, and I hit the ground running. And I think the most difficult coming back to school as an adult student, and I know many are doing that today, was learning what was important and what wasn't important from what you were studying, being able to sift out that differentiation and kind of put things on a hierarchy. So as a result, I and adult students, I think, came out really being top students because we were internalizing everything. And we formed a strong group in the gerontology program.
Well, let me say how much I enjoy supervising athletics and managing that area because I'm a big fan, and I really appreciate what our students do on the field of competition. They do a great job. You just have to look at the records to see how we are competitive in almost every sport, almost every year, winning championships, going to national and regional competitions, and really making STAC proud of the way that our students compete. I'm especially proud by 2 other things that they do. One is the academic success of our athletes. We are regularly among the top in our conference in terms of the number of students who have outstanding grade point averages and who are recognized for academic excellence. And we're also always in the top 1 or 2 for community service. We do amazing amounts of community service in a team-specific way with some of our specific teams focused on areas that are of interest to them, and also in an overall sense with things like the United Way Day of Caring, which is a big event for the college. So our student athletes really give their all for STAC, and we're always working to try to make this the best experience that it can be for them. We've got a great staff. We've got great coaches. If we are lacking in an area, it is facilities, and we have been trying to improve that over the past probably 10 years or so. Really happy to have Spartan Field, which is where many of our athletes compete. We have a great arrangement to play our games at Palisades Stadium and have that experience for our baseball players. But we are definitely always looking for ways to improve our facilities because there are many that are not exactly where we want them to be. We'd like to do more. We'd love to build a great new field house and to augment what we have. We continue to build that, but we definitely have needs in that area because if you look at the quality of the students, the quality of their play, the quality of the coaching, the one place where we are lagging a little bit behind is in the types of facilities that we have.
Anybody who can make a donation, it really truly is appreciated. And something that you might want to know is that we were just ranked by the NCAA with an academic success rate of 91%, which is number 22 in all of Division II, which is it's basically our graduation rate for our student athletes, our NCAA student athletes. So I think that is something that you can keep in the back of your mind, that you really are going to be contributing to a future and to somebody's opportunities going forward, and they will make the most of that donation. So I thank everybody in advance for your contributions, and it really will be worth it.
You know, my takeaway is there are 3 different ways or opportunities for our listeners and our viewers to help financially with their support. The first is, you know, obviously COVID relief and all that we've done in terms of supplying students, faculty, and staff with, you know, the PPE that they need to keep us open. The second is around students' experiences on campus and what we can offer them in terms of, you know, movie nights, as you've done in the past on the weekends, or the Walk of Terror around Halloween. So, you know, all of those things have some financial need as well. And then finally, really, the whole area of student athletes, right, in terms of the practice facilities, in terms of the equipment, in terms of the uniforms, in terms of the students themselves with scholarship money. If you are have the ability to support a student athlete through a scholarship as